Hey, here are 5 ways that you can feel happier with your body. Now, there's so many people, and obviously I've been in the fitness game over a decade now, and I understand that a lot of people are still not happy with their body, and maybe you're on a weight loss journey, maybe you exercise regularly, you go to the gym, you run, whatever it is, but you're still unconfident and unhappy with the way that you are, the way that you look. Now, for many people, especially if you've had a weight loss goal for a long time, maybe you've always wanted to lose weight and you've kind of lost weight, you've put it back on, maybe you're fat right now, or maybe you're heading that way and you're just not happy with your body. Well, I want to give you a different concept and a different idea on the ways to look at your body and your health. And specifically, this is tailored towards the people who are not happy with how they look and they are too focused on that. And maybe you even know that you obsess a little bit too much over it. Maybe your choice of clothing's always the same, or you struggle so much you try on 7 different outfits before you go out in the morning and you're always not happy with the way you look. Maybe this video is for you. Now, if you currently exercise, this is going to make a lot more sense to you. And maybe if you're just starting exercise, you're thinking about it, this will still make sense as well. So this concept of feeling happier with your body is interesting because we have this idea about how we should look. I should look like that, and if I don't look this way, and then I'm fat and I'm disgusting and I've got flabby bits and all the rest, right? Now, we have this often deluded idea of perfection, about what is perfect and what is suitable for us. Now again, everybody's body's going to look differently because of genetic factors, lifestyle choices, things like that, which are going to determine. But obviously, depending on how much work you're willing to put in with your diet and your exercise and learning about your body determines on what shape's going to come out the other end. Now, there is something that I paid a lot of attention to several years ago now, which has changed my mindset about my body entirely. So I've never been really massively fat, but I have been skinny, out of shape and unconfident, right? So I understand about what it's like to be unconfident with your body. Just because you're not overweight doesn't mean that you're confident. And if you're skinny and sometimes you've got no confidence, you are bullied in school like I was, then it's kind of the same thing. So what really changed for me is, yes, I started to work out. Yes, I started to get muscles. Yes, I started to do boxing, and it really helped me confidence, getting fit and building muscle and stuff. But I always looked in the mirror and was like, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with this. And I'd look at my abs and be like, I can't get rid of this bottom flab. And I wouldn't be happy with my shoulders, or my arms were too skinny, or I just wasn't happy with my general shape. And this went on for years. And even though I was working hard and people were giving us compliments, I didn't feel it inside. So I started to look into the performance side of things. The one thing that often people neglect, like they go to the gym and they do a bit, they lift their weights, they go for their run, they do something active, they perform in a certain way, but they're never quite happy with their body. Now, if body composition is so important to you, then you could become a bodybuilder. There's a choice to do that. Now, bodybuilding works on simply just building the body to a certain aesthetic look. But there are many bodybuilders who you would look at, you maybe even look at them on Instagram and go, oh my God, they're in amazing shape, they're near perfection, whether it be male or female. But you have no fucking idea whether those people are happy or not. And a lot of the time, they're not. Because the lifestyle that it requires to get to that shape, that perfect body, is actually quite extreme. So I started to change my mindset on this and look at 5 performance factors. And this changed my mindset entirely on how I looked at my body, because I started to go on how I felt rather than how I looked. And it's an interesting concept when you're looking after your body. You think that it's all about the result in the mirror. It's all about the result in the clothes. And that's part of it. But more so, it's about how you feel. So I started to train for sanity, not vanity. I started to really lift those weights, not just to look good, but to feel good. I started to go out for those runs and sprints, not to look good and shed fat, but to feel energized. I started to do push-ups and planks and burpees and sit-ups and squats, not just to look good and have bigger chest and shoulders, but to feel pumped and full of energy and confident and strong. So there's 5 ways, which I'm going to take you through now, which are ways to assess your progress when it comes to performance, so you're not too obsessed with the aesthetics. And as a byproduct of getting your head around these, here's the beautiful thing about it. As a byproduct, as long as you're eating well and you're sleeping well and you're looking after yourself, if you focus on these performance indicators, then you will look good as a side effect. So now I pay very little attention to how I look, and I pay attention to the performance side of things. Now, there's many ways to measure performance. What a lot of people will do is, let's take weight loss as an example. How will you measure your performance? By what the scales say. If you haven't lost a pound, it's shit, I'm useless, I've fucked up on my diet, what's the point? It doesn't work. Fuck this, I'm starting on Monday, I'm going off the rails for the weekend, right? Stupid, dumb. It's one unit of measurement that shrinks and expands all the time. Because of dehydration levels, if you've had a giant dump on the loo, you're going to get rid of excess weight. If you've had a weekend of alcohol and several liquid calories, you won't be aware of how much you've been drinking or eating. So it's no wonder you're over the scales on a Monday after a hefty weekend. So weight on the scales is not a great thing. But when we consider the 5 key performance indicators I am just about to give you, this will massively change the way you look at how your body works and performs rather than how it looks. And as a side effect, if you are consistent with measuring these, then you will look good as a side effect, like I've said. So the first indicator is time. Now, what do I mean by time, and how do I measure that and look at it? Well, very simple. If you know what a plank is, and if you're into exercise, you'll know, even if you're not, you'll know what a plank is, right? Let's say you can do 60 seconds in a plank and then you'll drop to your knees, right? Well, the next time you attempt that plank the next week, what if you could do 65 seconds? And you got to time that properly every week. And every week you got an extra 5, 10, 15 seconds. Where do you think you'd be in 6 months? You'd be getting a 4 or 5 minute plank. What do you think that would do for your mental strength to know that physically you're getting stronger in your core? Do you think that that would burn more calories if you were to extend your plank time by double, treble, if not more? Absolutely. What about a run time if you're a runner? If you can run 5 miles, how long does it take you to run 5 miles? Well, do you think you can do it in 30 seconds quicker? What does that mean? It means you're performing better. So there's several different ways you can measure time. Time under tension, how long you can hold a heavy weight, 2 heavy kettlebells in a position like this, or maybe in a half squat, right? Or how much time you can walk with heavy dumbbells and keep your grip tight, or how much time you can hang off a bar for your grip strength. They'll give you a damn good shoulder stretch as well at the same time. So there's several ways you can measure time. But if we are progressing and we see the numbers get better, we are happy. We are happier. Progress is happiness. Now, you might be times when you get less time. You can't beat yourself up because you're not fucking perfect. Sorry to break the bubble, but you're not. Secondly, another key performance measure is distance. Distance is very simple. If you could run 1 mile last week and you run 1.2 miles this week, you are 0.2 miles fitter. That's it. People think that you've got to go from 1 mile to a half marathon. Do you fuck? 1 mile to 1.2 to 1.5 to 1.7 to maybe 1.92 miles every week, taking it up by 0.2. You do not need to progress at the rate that you expect, even if you're just progressing minor increments, because at the end of the day, if you progress too intensely and you push yourself too far, you'll get injured and then you'll be fucked and you won't be able to push very far at all. But how much distance can you cover? Distance with walking with a heavy kettlebell or dumbbell, for example. Distance pushing a prowler. Distance walking even. People forget. You could track your walks. You could track your steps as distance. You could track, if you walk a mile to work and a mile back every day, for example, I know not many people do that now, but let's say you did, what if you could walk an extra mile at lunchtime or a half a mile and incorporate that as a 5-day week? Then you're technically doing so much more distance over the week. But the problem is with all these I'm about to tell you is you need to start tracking them in some way, keeping a note of them. In a previous video, I talked about journaling and the importance of writing things down, keeping a note of it. Yes, you can keep it in your phone, but sometimes it's good to have a dedicated book that you actually keep these measurements in, because when it's in your phone, it'll just get lost with all the other apps and things you've got going on. Not saying it's a bad idea, but it's a very, very good idea if you're not doing it already to have a handwritten version of your performance and progress. So after distance, what's the next thing we can track? Well, we can track weight. Weight is the next thing. So it's very simple. If you can bench press 100 kilos, I know that's a heavy bench press, by the way. I mean, I could bench press 100 kilos, but not for very many. But then I go 2 weeks later and I can bench press 101 kilos, then I'm a kilo stronger, right? If I can back squat 90 kilograms or 120 kilograms, and I go back 3 weeks later and I can back squat 95 kilograms or 125, I'm 5 kilo stronger, right? Now, I know this sounds so simple, but are you actually tracking what you're doing in the gym? Are you actually tracking your performance? Because most people are not. They're just going and just doing a bit, coming out, not paying any attention. This is super important. If you want to get fitter, if you want to get healthier, if you want to get stronger, you've got to start looking at things like this. And if you want to feel better about your body, this is 5 ways to feel better about it by tracking performance so that it moves better, so that you feel better and understand it's not just about aesthetics and what it looks like on the outside. It's how it feels on the inside and how it performs. And if you're eating right, sleeping right, and doing the healthy habits, you're going to look good as a side effect of performing well. The reason why a lot of people don't hit their goals with their body is because they're not simply performing well. They're just going and fucking about. 20 minutes on the cross trainer, texting their mate. 10 minutes on the stationary bike, texting their mate. No level of intensity or progression or progressive overload in any way. So weight's another thing you can track. Is the weight heavier, if even just 1 kilo? The next thing we can track is reps. Now, reps are simple. If you got 10 last week on a back squat of 50 kilograms, and you then went the next week and put 50 kilograms on again, the same weight, and you got 11 reps, you're a rep stronger. People forget this. What about push-ups? How many push-ups can you do without dropping your knees? Let's say you can do 20. What if you could do 22 next week? You're 2 push-ups stronger, 2 reps stronger. What about how many burpees could you get in 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 2 minutes even? Yeah? But in that time, if you can get an extra rep or 2, the reps matter and you're going to feel better. And if you were to improve these things every week, imagine the accumulative effect that could have on you physically for being stronger, fitter, and more in shape over the next 3 to 6 months. Massive. So reps are another one that should not be discounted. And the final one is very similar, and it's sets. So those of you guys who train in the gym and do maybe chest and back, or you go and you've been told to do 5 sets on the cross trainer. I don't know what it is, right? Let's say an average training program is 3 times 10 on the bench press, 3 times 10 on the back squat, 3 times 5 on the deadlift or something. If you come in 3 weeks time, 4 weeks time, and you do 4 sets of 10, 4 sets of 5, then you do 5 sets of 5, 6 sets of 5, more sets, more working sets of the exercise. Or if you're doing 6-minute rounds of push-ups in your boxing training, then if you do 7-minute rounds of push-ups, then you're doing more sets, right? Is this making sense? It's very, very simple, but people forget about these 5 things and how they can really have a positive impact on your performance. And no matter what your opinion is on this, the results won't lie. If you're taking data and you're being honest about it and writing down, you can't argue with that. Sure, you can be in drama about how much weight you should have lost. You can be in drama in your mind of where you should be. But if you're taking these numbers and you're taking these 5 things into consideration, then it's going to have a massive and dramatic impact on you physically, mentally, and emotionally. And these are 5 ways in which you can feel much better about your body. See you on the next one.